So welcome to the grand final. We came to you right at the tail end of the Australian national anthem. On history's page, a lyric from the Australian national anthem. We are writing history today.
Yes, indeed we are, Dave. It's a poignant moment, and two great sides here to battle it out, and it's going to be super exciting.
Rory Sarongan joining me in commentary again. So incredibly close games. We'll wait and see what happens with this one. We could toss a coin. We have got no idea who'll win this one. So lineups: Brighton, Jacob France, Mitchell Wenck, Jack Cook in that front row, Alex Wood and Andrew Brown in the second row, Tom Roberts, Matt Spark and Ryan France in the back row, Gareth Brown and Clayton Collier's in halfbacks. They've gone for that experience. The centres will be Paddy Fay and Tremaine Butler, Aaron Coleman and Nathan Satala on the wings, and Peter Bullower back at fullback. And we're underway. Brown will send us out, and off we go with Fay. We'll find Satala. Satala will work his way out of one, then find Butler. Butler will find Coleman, but it's gone forward into touch. I don't know when I'm going to get a chance to get a breath, but we'd need one.
There's exciting stuff straight away. Brighton looking to go out wide. Exactly what they've done in the last three encounters, funnily enough.
But it will be a Burnside ball, Burnside lineup. And once we get a chance to take a breath in a little bit, I'll give you the Burnside lineup. Walton will go to the back to Langsford. Scrappy. Lamsam has to try and tidy it up, which he does. And we will go Marshall. Marshall will float one out onto this left-hand wing. Bullower will try and corral him into touch. Didn't quite get there. Edward Wilkes returning in that number 14 jersey. Scrappy side entry. Our referees today, Carlos Moralos, the Portuguese referee, in the middle. Out on the far touchline, we have Tristan Clements. And Quinton Fleischfresher, pulling double duty today, is ARing for us. So we have a jersey change, as they like to do. So it's Matthew Benja wearing the number 14. Edward Wilkes is playing, but he's over on that far side.
Yes, indeed, indeed. A little bit confusing for us all, I think, Dave. But a good start. It's a promising start for the game to come.
2-ball to Langsford. They'll look to go early. Lamsam with his hands on the ball at the back. Hardly surprising. That's where he generally ends up. He's come straight through the middle, so he's okay. Probably has. It's a maul, so that'll go. Excellent work from Ali Wood, the Flying Frenchman. First time we get to call the Flying Frenchman today.
Yeah, well, he's looking for his prime for a big game, Ward. So let's keep an eye on him and see what he's got to offer.
So our first scrum of the game.
Both teams would like to get a bit of ascendancy here, Dave.
Talked about conditions in the Division 1 game. Conditions are absolutely perfect. Looks like we will race it.
Yeah, absolutely amazing conditions here today, here at the Port Adelaide Rugby Club, mate. No, what a grand turnout, and everyone's hung around to see the finality of this game.
So Burnside back in the traditional double blue. Brighton in their gold and black. Brighton attacking the right of your screen, Burnside the left. Scrum was under pressure, but they got rid of it. Collier puts it on the boot. Moves them back a little bit. Burnside ball.
So Buller was on the wing today, Dave. He's got number 14 on anyway.
Number 14 on, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's on. These players put whatever jerseys he wants on. Lamsam fires it into midfield. Good short ball.
Curtis Herbert.
Curtis Herbert running straight and hard. And another Eric Moroney. Josh straightens. Callum Walton takes on a couple. Ashby. Out to Hamilton. Good defence. Driving them back. Ashby again, into Marshall.
I notice they're not committing too many players to the ruck at this point in time.
That's been knocked forward in that. Collier will then put it onto the boot. and it will go all the way out. Too big. Far too big, that one.
Yeah, yep. It looked like Brighton are not willing to commit any plays to the ruck at the moment, Dave. It's a ploy they used earlier on in the season and through early on parts of each game, I've noticed.
So Satala is back at fullback. Peter Bullower is on the right wing, so that's just a swap. So Brighton scrum was under a little bit of pressure on the last one. Let's see whether they can improve on this one. Much, much better. They'll bring Bullower in from the blindside wing and he'll just put his head down and go. Run through a couple of Burnside players. Brown, send it out to Collier. Collier looks to bounce it towards Satala and Barnes Wallace pass. Coleman then will just put his foot down and go. Wilkes does very, very well. They get bundled into touch, bang on halfway. Oh, little bit of afters with Satala and he gets penalised and it's still going. Callum Walton decides he wants to come and have a chat. Now Matt Wilkes, Matthew Spark wants to go. And the Burnside-Brighton rivalry is off and running.
It's off and going. Well done, guys. Well done. Good to see.
Every single one of them knew they were on television, though, so there was a lot of posturing and not much else over there.
Yeah.
No one willing to do anything about it.
Satala
rethought it halfway through as well.
It looked like he was going to dump him, but thought better of it.
Interesting one. His legs went above 90, but it's after play, so I was just about to say this is probably what we expected from the opening of this Premier Grade game. A little bit cagey. No one really willing to do much, and then all of a sudden it blew up.
Yep. There's a short tinder, short fuse today, I think. Both teams have to be very careful.
So we're talking to for both the captains with 6 minutes gone.
Yes, very early in the piece, Dave. Interesting to see what he says about the Satala incident.
He's given the penalty. Whether he escalates from that penalty, we don't know. No, I think it's just
play on.
Just the penalty. All big boys. I know he wants to speak to Quinton now. Quinton Fleischfresser, who's on the near side, already refereed a game today, did the under-18s game today.
Yeah, he did well to keep up with one of the fastest games yet to this year, really.
So, well, we have this break in play. We'll go through the Burnside team, which we haven't had a chance to. Louis Fagan, Chris Walton, Fred Samuel in the front row, Alistair Langsford, Callum Walton in second row. Blair Marshall, Jacob Devlin and Nigel Lamson will make up the back row. Brad Ashby and Andrew Hamilton, they will be the halfbacks. Eric Moroney, Curtis Herbert in the centres, Matthew Benger and Edward Wilkes on the wing, Christopher Hodgson back at fullback. Interesting one, Fraser Green on the bench, 3 weeks after a cheek fracture.
Yeah, well, all very clear, like he was training. Did quite well, actually. So,
it's been reversed. Callum Walton did come a long, long way to get involved in that.
True. The Sea Dog, he's not shy of a conflict, so yeah, he'll be leading from the front today, and we'll see what happens. That's a big kick. He's done well.
Pushed him down into the 22, Paddy Fay.
Brighton on the attack.
Don Smith medal winner for the year.
Yeah, very well deserved. He's a standout player, class player, so well done to Paddy.
They will go into the back. Gareth Brown runs around. Has to do the work. His brother Andrew will pick it up and then roll around the corner. Ryan Francis putting some work in at the back of there. Another little pick and drive from Spark. A little bit messy, but it'll come. Brown has to go digging. He'll find his brother Andrew Brown. He'll make some good yardage. Cook puts his head down. Massive contact from Blair Marshall. Brown again. Sends it out to Collier. Collier will send it to Butler. Butler will fire it all the way to Bullower. Bullower has a little bit of space. Cover came across. He will get bundled into touch and it will be a Burnside ball.
Yeah, they were in trouble there, Burnside. Bullower on the wing. Really did quite well in cover to take the flying man on the wing. He's quite a fluid runner, isn't he?
He's shown how dangerous he can be when he can get into open space. Burnside will send that there, and it gets sacked automatically, and then Ashby will box kick it straight into the arms of Bullower. Bullower will fire it in midfield to Satala. Satala with a step runs straight into Fahey. Fahey might have been pushed into him. Penalty for not releasing. Lamson wants to get on with it.
Here we go on the Rhino replay.
We'll have a look. Herbert, it looks like, yeah, it just gives Fahey a shove, which makes the tackle on Satala. Not sure of the legality of that.
I'm a bit the same, Dave. I'm not sure how the legalities work there, but here we go. Burnside in the opposition half.
Do you know what? It's the grand final. We don't care if the referee puts his whistles away and just lets them play.
Let the boys run. It's been
10 minutes on. Our stats brought to you by Joseph Azumka. If you need a suit, go and see him. 3 penalties apiece. 10 minutes, so even.
Yeah. No, the rest had a good game. Carlos, he's doing well.
That one will go to the back. Now Ashby will fire it into Hamilton. Hamilton shows, then turns it inside to Curtis Herbert. Curtis Herbert obviously decided he's come out to play today. Ashby again will send it on to Walton. Walton's got to do some, he's got some making up to do.
Yeah. And I'm sure he will. And Jacob Devlin, the hit man from Burnside, the hard man.
So now they will look back onto Marshall. Marshall with Walton. Good hands on from Wood again.
Yeah, he did well.
That's good jackling from the big man.
Yep, he done well there. He done well. Unfortunately, the assassin Blair Canvas Marshall was isolated, and yeah, that's what happens when you've got such a potent loose forward for Brighton.
Pick your times when you're going to go and jackal.
He did well though. Very strong over the ball. Your flying Frenchman. He's got himself a bit of territory with the penalty, and Brighton on the attack. Be interesting to see how Jermaine Butler goes today, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, that's the 2 number 13s. They're different. Obviously, Jermaine Butler, a very, very elusive runner. Curtis Herbert, more of a straight up and down. Just rolled that out the back. Messy, but Brown will send it out to the left to Jacob France. Brown will then come back to Cook. Cook will fire it out the back to Collier. Collier will go to Butler. Butler will step, break the ankles of the first one, sort it out with the second one. Penalty for hands.
There's that right foot step from Tremaine Butler.
It's incredible. He changes direction the blink of an eye.
Yeah, absolutely lethal. Absolutely lethal.
Fahey just had a little eye at the posts. He will send it down the right-hand side. Just on the 22.
Oh, I hazard a guess that this is just going to go down to the wire once again, Dave.
Well, it's been different to the games that we've seen because they've started with points. Both of these teams looking very, very defensively minded. You don't want to concede points. Driving ball from Brighton. Be a hell of an effort to get it that from 22 out, but they are going forward. Now they're going forward. That's the 5 you can see. They're going to go from 22. Now they will break to the right. He will break to the right. That's the try line there. Brighton getting ever closer. Cook will send it into Andrew Brown. Andrew Brown will try and burrow his way through. Gareth Brown at the back. He will find France. France will just throw himself at it. Brick wall of double blue in front of him.
There was no way through there.
So they will settle down. Now they have Cook. Cook will have a go. Again, Burnside stands strong. Brown now will look to go a bit quicker. Collier throws it back on the inside to Fahey. Again, they are stopped. Now Collier stepped inside, throws it out the back to Butler. Butler will look for a gap, held by Herbert. Brown will get his hands on again, then finds Spark. Spark met by Walton and Herbert.
Great tackle there by Chris Walton.
Andrew Brown, show, go. Made a couple of yards.
He did well.
Numbers out on the right-hand side if they can use it. Collier shows inside, then decides to go. Callum Walton gets on it. Penalty advantage. Another messy breakdown. Brown will look to the right-hand side. Then they will pass it on to Bullower. Bullower will touch it down in the right-hand side. There is the first try of the game. 15 minutes gone. Rather subdued in the celebration of that one. First bloke to Brighton.
Yeah, great try. They just had extra numbers there on the Rhino replay. And actually used the right option and took it out to the right-hand side to Bullower. And quick hands there by the hooker, Mitchell Wenk. So well done, guys. Well done.
So just some stats. And again, the stats brought to you today by Joseph Azumku. Burnside 4 missed tackles. Brighton haven't missed a tackle yet.
Yeah, well, missed tackles very important, aren't they?
Burnside, they've given away 6 penalties, whereas Brighton have only given away 3. Scrums and line-outs even at the moment. So first 15 minutes of this game, as we would expect.
Yeah, well, I think it just shows the intensity and what it means. I know there's been the missed tackles are definitely not a good look, but the penalties, you know, it's a frantic pace game, and like you said, the celebration subdued. Maybe they're just still thinking that there's a big job to do still, and they're a bit wary from what happened last week and 2 weeks ago.
You would suggest
Yeah,
Paddy Fay will pull that one to the left.
So we go Chris Hodgson here to kick it off. See what Brighton can do.
Well, if they watched last week, Brighton struggled with the kickoffs from Onka Paringa.
Oh, they did well. Yeah, he's a mountain, Alex Wood, isn't he? He's a real class act.
Very, very strong underneath it. Brown to Collier. Collier to Fay. Fay shifts it out again. Studs Tyler up somewhat. He'll take on Herbert. Herbert will wrap him up, but the offload is there. Coleman will come inside. Swarmed on by Burnside. Brown will send it in field to Collier again. Fay to Cook. Cook just delayed a little bit too long, but Wood will tidy it up. Bullower again. Breaks through the first one, then inside to Cook. Cook offloads, unfortunately, straight to Louis Fagan.
No, the dark horse of the team, Louis Fagan, just does his job very quietly.
Burnside can rebuild. Hamilton, short ball.
Got hit hard there.
Got man and ball. Ashby again, he'll just box kick it. Take a Burnside bounce. Coleman takes a tumble. Is there a flag over there from Mr. Clements? I don't think there is.
Not sure, Dave, not sure.
Is he talking? I can't see whether he's talking to, he is just having a chat. A little bit of rough housing.
Yep. Let's be honest, it's to be expected. We don't condone it yet. Both teams are putting everything on the line. What's he saying here? Penalty?
Yeah, penalty. Yep. For the push.
Yep.
So Fay will be able to use this penalty and push them to close to, if not within, the Burnside half.
Not sure if he's found touch there.
No,
yes, he's got it.
He was teasing Walton.
Yeah, he was.
Walton thought he had a go at it, but no.
He's got
inch perfect from Fay.
Yeah, he's a consummate professional, isn't he? Fay, he's, like you said, the Don Smith medalist and playing inside centre today. So
Brown at the back to his brother. Into Collier. Fay again, then they will fire it out to Coleman. Then Satala will just arc his run. He beats the first one. It's Satala against Herbert. He sends it inside to Bullower. Bullower not held. He'll offload to Coleman. Coleman will go over. 2 unanswered try for Brighton. They've come out hard in the 20 minutes. Opening 20 minutes. Brighton stick 2 tries on.
Yep. Great try there from Brighton on the Rhino replay. We'll see. Satala. Here we go. Makes a break on the outside. Curtis Herbert chasing it inside to Bullower. Bullower puts a step on the inside and offloads to Coleman. Well done, boys. Well done.
Coleman is straight. What I will say is defensively, Curtis Herbert had to make 3 tackles in a row then.
Yeah, yeah.
Where's the covering across from Burnside?
Well, yes.
Kev Ashby will want them.
That's exactly right. Kev Ashby will be having a good hard look at what happened and coming up and finding a game plan against it.
8 missed tackles so far in this first half.
Yeah, all a tribute to the Brighton backline, really. They've come in with a bit of touch of class, really, Dave, and look to have found a weakness.
It looks like he's managed to sort himself out. That one he will knock over. 12 points to 10.
Going from anything that's happened recently, though, you just wouldn't, we still wouldn't put your money on either team just at the moment. So
no, there's plenty of time in this one.
And as we've all seen over the last 3 games between these 3, they have just gone down to the absolute last play.
Chris Hodgson will restart us. High but deep. Wood is underneath it.
Again, Wood strong.
He will have watched last week and saw the trouble he had with his kickoffs. I wouldn't imagine he would have spent the week working on them. And then we'll go out to Butler. Butler will find Satala again. Satala just shifts it on to Thomas Roberts. Gareth Brown to midfield. Fay will hit Cook on the short line. Cook works hard. Lamsam gets his hands on it and will turn it over. Walton goes.
He's done well there, Nigel.
It's going to cause you problems around that breakdown if you're not careful. Callum Walton just lowers his head, takes on Mitchell Wenk. Ashby will fire it in field. Then they will go again. Slow ball so Brighton are comfortable. They'll look again to this left-hand side. Jacob Devlin will have a look.
Just slowly working it up the field, aren't they?
Inch by inch. Marshall will take on Cook and Brown. Ashby shows, then goes. Runs directly into the big fella in Wood. Call them all. And they roll off the side. Walton will get to ground. Very, very slow to move out of the way, that Brighton player. Hamilton attacks the line. Keeps his feet, gets his hands free. Didn't get an offload option. Ashby looks to the left to Callum Walton. Walton will just put his head down and take on Cook.
Yeah, good.
Whistle for not rolling away. Gone early. Now the ball hasn't gone to hand and it's just faffing around and penalty still there. There's a blood. Oh. Is that Ed Wilkes? Didn't see how he got the blood, but he's got some.
In the Rhino replay, here we go.
He just caught a shoulder. It's friendly fire. But gets a little helping hand on the way through from Thomas Roberts. Tried to play patty cake, but he wasn't facing him.
No.
Shot him in the back.
Only one person playing patty cake there, so yeah. Here we go. It looks like they're going for kick. Penalty.
Herbert will look to kick it goal.
As the lights come on, Dave, it's...
We are under lights.
It was a big turnout, Dave. A great turnout today. It's been full of fantastic rugby.
So you see the Burnside faithful behind the kicker. So as you look, the goal that Herbert is kicking towards, down in that far corner are all the Brighton faithful. Just on the other side of halfway is the Burnside faithful.
Yeah, they're yet to hit full voice, but I'm sure that'll happen. Maybe a little bit shell-shocked with the 12-0 scoreline so early.
And he will knock that one over, nice and easy. We saw the start, didn't we? And they just came out. By luck or providence, Brighton will be attacking their crowd in the second half, and Burnside will be playing towards their crowd in the second half. Should end up with a good finish.
Yeah.
We've run out of balls to stop these players kicking them all over the place. So Wilkes still on, he hasn't come off. I haven't seen him come off to try and get that
he's
cleaned
still
up.
there on the far side there.
Got away with it because there was a fair bit of claret on him. Lamsam sends it in field. Fired it at Devlin.
Good run there by Jacob Devlin.
Makes his way to the 22.
Gets support.
Ashby will send it into Marshall. Marshall again. It's a little bit isolated, but his support gets there eventually. Now they'll look to the left-hand side. Put a little bit of full work on. Herbert needs to go and put some gloves on, I think. He can't keep hold of it.
He's just dropped that cold, hasn't he, unfortunately for the big man.
It's been causing him issues for the last couple of phases, Mr. Herbert.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So Brighton line up.
Got a 5-man line out.
He'll go to the back. Gareth Brown will send it back inside to Bullower. It's incredibly difficult to put down. And they will send it over to Faye. Faye will fire it and didn't really look, and again forces Satala backwards. Satala will take on Herbert. Herbert, who defensively has been better than he has been offensively at the moment. Faye sends it into the middle.
They've got numbers here.
Better numbers. Now Spark can go. He'll take on Walton. Walton will do okay. France will work at halfback. Thomas just sits down, that number 12. Eric Maroney.
No, the Argentinian hitman, mate. He does really well.
Said he didn't get to ground. Calling them all, so it'll be a Burnside ball.
Well, Dave, it's
25 minutes gone.
Yeah, as per usual, it's an epic struggle between these two teams. Brighton have certainly showed up for the earlier part, and Burnside with the work to do. It's a big scrum here.
You get to see Mr. Cook work over here, and Fred Samuels wearing number 23 tonight. So we'll reset that scrum.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what exit strategy Burnside come up with, whether they run it or kick it. I am guessing the kick, but...
well, they're outside the 22, so it can't kick it dead. Kick for the Seagulls. They will put it on the boot.
Drives it down to Satala.
Satala clean again. Has a look what's in front of him. Sees he has Bullower. Buller will get his head forward. He's met by a couple of Burnside players.
Andrew Hamilton.
Got his support there, though. Brown will send it out to the left. France manages to keep an arm free, then get it off to Andrew Brown. Andrew Brown will take on the last defender. Then look to offload all the way back to Gareth Brown. Gareth Brown is swarmed by Burnside. And they look to counter, but they will reset. Collier, Faye, into Cook. Cook will just come back on the angle. Faye looked to clean out and missed everybody.
Yeah, they're looking to run Cook out a bit wider, I've noticed.
Faye will look on the box kick. All about the bounce, and the bounce beats everyone.
Yeah, they're running Cook out wide in the wider channels, so looking to use his punishing ball running skills just a little bit further wide there, Dave. Obviously a deliberate ploy.
So Brighton leading this one 12 points to 3. 27 minutes gone in this first half. There is movement on the Brighton bench. Henry Bradford looks like he's getting ready. He was brought in around the same time last week and made an impact. Burnside have managed to turn that one over, though. Oh, no, sorry, it was a Burnside ball anyway, wasn't it? Sorry. Maroney just head down straight away. And they will fire it out. Good line speed from Brighton.
Yeah, they're up quick on him.
Ashby has to tidy it up. Walton, very much alone. Support will get there eventually. Maroney with a nice little pickup. Just got himself a little bit isolated again. Walton will clean out. Lamsam will act as halfback. And he will pick and go. We do have numbers out on that right-hand side. If they can shift it early, which they can. Herbert, again, just hands aren't clean. And Edward Wilkes sporting some nice knows where. I think we've got a dislocated finger in front of us as well. So he has to deal with that one. We're going to number for him. That's Hamilton, the number 10.
Doss, affectionately known as.
Certainly don't want fingers. Whoa.
Yeah, it might be quite difficult. It'll be interesting to see how his passing turns out now.
Chris Hodgson will clear them. So that will go towards our VIP tent. All the VIPs are in that big marquee.
Yes, yes.
And they are watching us, so they can hear us. We'll see whether we can get them to give us a wave as we get over to this lineup.
Let's hope they've all had a wonderful day over there in the VIP tent. They look quite comfortable, so yeah.
Bradford comes on. No ball.
Once again,
it's coming. We're testing the kicking skills of our assistant and reserve referees over
yeah,
here.
might be worth a shot to employ a couple of ball boys today.
Now we have 2 balls on. Fielder's choice. Walton goes with the one he's got in his hand. So they will go to Walton. Ashby sends it into midfield to Lam Sam. To the dangerous Bullower. Bullower has a wall in front of him. Huge hit by Benja. Ball comes back the right way. Thomas dropped it. Cook to Satala. Satala will shake away from the first one. Duck out of the second one. Push his way out of the third one. Strong young man. Brown will send it out. Misses Bradford. Fay ducks his head into that one. Makes some good yardages. Makes the way to halfway. Brown out to Collier. Collier will straighten. Take on a couple. Pop it out of the challenge. Brown again. Out to Wood. Wood bounces it to Coleman. Coleman does well picking that one up. Then he'll take on Callum Walton, who does enough. A little bit of a counter ruck from Samuel. Wood will bring it back on the angle. Take on Walton and Lamsam. Gareth Brown again. Out to Andrew Brown. Out the back to Collier. Collier will find Butler. Butler doesn't manage to get away. Lets the ball go, picks up and goes again. Good work from Butler. Brown will offload. A Burnside player down in back play. Maroney, big challenge. Brown into the middle. Thomas sends it wide again. Sorry, that's to Thomas. Lots of support there. Now the counter ruck comes. Strong enough. Satala to Bradford. Bradford with a show and go. Fay steps in at halfback. Brown out to first 5. Andrew Brown to second 5. Manages to make the yardage. Collier will put the boot on. Nobody back there. Who's going to win that foot race? Looks like Bullower could get there. Benja just leaned him out of it.
Yeah, well, it's totally
solid
legit.
Work by Benja.
He did well, because Bullower was absolutely flying down there onto that ball.
All about the foot race, and Benja did very, very well.
Yeah. He's got some pace, Bullower, isn't he? Very fluid, high knee action as they kick deep.
Will send it into the Brighton half. Wood beats the first one. Then he will look at Benja and he will offload to Bullower. Bullower is hit hard by Maroney. So he patted him on the head. I genuinely don't think it was patronising. I think he genuinely meant it.
I think he actually was just saying it, you know, what good hit.
Good hit, yeah.
Yep.
So as we get close to the half-time, we'll just have a look. Big story on the board in the stats, brought to you by Joseph Azumku. 12 missed tackles to Burnside, only 2 to Brighton. Penalties 6 and 7, so even.
Yeah, they've had a lot of ball though, Brighton. So no, it's not good, the 12 missed tackles, but it goes to say they've had a lot of possession. So, you know, it's once Burnside get the ball back, it may even out, may not. Credit to Brighton. So, yeah.
Scrubs and lineouts are pretty much equal. Prolonged discussion between referee and assistant referee. Saying no arms in the tackle, I think that's the call.
I think that was for the Eric Moroney hit on Bullock.
What he said is no arms in the tackle. So a penalty, right on touch.
I'm not sure, mate. I can't remember the tackle, but it...
Yeah, well, that's what he's called. He's called no arms in the tackle. So Faye will knock it down into the corner.
Yeah.
6 minutes to half time, and Brighton will have a lineup. About 30 metres out from the Burnside line. They'll go to the back to Bradford. Bradford will bring it down eventually, and a little knock on by Gareth.
It was only slight, though.
It was tiny, but they all count.
Yeah, they seem to be targeting the back of the tail of the line out there, Dave. Bradford, throwing Bradford up high. Great technique. Unfortunately for the Brighton, that didn't work that time, but yeah.
So, another scrum. Burnside putting, Ashby. Brighton will push them off.
Yeah, big shove.
And they will go out the back.
Hodgson.
Hodgson can go. Oh!
He's gone.
Broken the ankles of the Brighton defender. Then he will send it on.
And he's hit Wilkes.
To Wilkes. Wilkes is going to take on the pace. Satala will get him. Support is with him, though. Excellent steal by Bullower. Now the Burnside player needs to move away, but there's an advantage. No advantage coming, so the penalty will go to Burnside. More discussion in the background. This time Lamsam and Bradford just getting to know each other a little bit better.
Oh, I think, goes with the territory, doesn't it? Grand final, it means so much to every player.
Wonderfully weighted ball. I thought Wilkes had gone. Satala with a fantastic covering challenge.
He did well to cover Ed Wilkes.
And Bullower did enough. And then, yeah, there was a little bit of sealing off.
Once again, Dave, it's a punch-for-punch game. I know Brighton are ahead 12-3, but that looked promising for Burnside. Great defence by Nathan Satala.
Another conversation going on between the referee and the assistant.
Yeah, there's a lot of conversing going on. We'll see. I don't think the players have made it easy for the refereeing to let it flow, but we'll see. Maybe it'll settle down second half, but very interesting that it's...
Let's go into pocket. Coleman will go for yellow. Not sure.
Well, I'm not sure, Dave.
Not sure what for. We'll get confirmation when he comes over. Let's go officiating cue.
He's a devastating player too, so they'll miss him out there on the far left.
Strong runner.
He is.
Sealing off. Yellow card for sealing off. Late hit, no arms in the tackle. He's just informed us as he's walked over, so that's what the yellow card was for, but the penalty was for sealing off. So Burnside will have a line out 5 metres out. They do have a driving ball. We've seen it earlier in the year.
Got to win the ball first, but when they do, Langford up at the front.
Phase 1 done. Excellent work from Brighton just to shift them out to the right-hand side, and they've managed to sack it, and it's messy. Ashby to Hamilton. Hamilton to inside to Herbert. Herbert just scragged by Faye. Now there might be numbers. Moroney straight from Hodgson. Hodgson dumped by Satala, and he gets his hands on. Penalty arm is out. Advantage again. Side entry. Now they can tack on the extras and bring it to a half the deficit, sorry, so it's 12 points to 6. Or he's gone points, he's pointed early.
Yeah, we all have our own take on those decisions. He's gone for the points. I know points are a premium and it is the final. It might be showing a little bit of credit to Brighton's defence.
Yeah, and defensively we've seen, I mean, it's what it's come down to, essentially. The opening stanza of this game, the opening half of this game, what it's come down to is Burnside have missed too many tackles.
True, Dave, true. Brighton have been attacking the flanks, the wing position for Burnside, and doing it with great success. Yeah, with Curtis Herbert kick to come. I know they sort of lost a bit when they lost Josh Bailey with his broken ankle, who's now gone over to St. Louis, but unfortunately, fortunately, they've got a few good handy replacements and a bit of a shuffling around. I think Brighton will come back hard like they do every half right at the start. They tend to really turn on the screws. So
Herbert will tack on the penalty, 12 points to 6. Brighton will restart.
Collier to kick. Sends it deep.
Does send it deep.
Yeah, to Doss Hamilton. Gives it to Lamsam. Burnside set the platform. Walton out to Wilkes. Wilkes puts a right foot step on. Out to Blair Marshall.
So Marshall will take on a couple. Lamsam is there. And they will go out just straighten from Hamilton.
Yeah, he's got a bit of time to work with Brad Ashby's passing there. Here's Freddie Samuels down the side.
Oh, nice little flick ball inside to Wilkes. Wilkes has obviously been in a game of rugby. Arm is out. Not sure whether it's a knock-on or a penalty, but the arm is out.
They've got a turnover, Brighton.
I think they have turned it over.
Oh, penalty. I think they'll go for goal, Dave. It's a bit far out. I'm not sure if penalty. You'd be more.
It's a fair old way. Yeah, he went down funny, and the poor lad has been in the wars, and he does not look happy.
His knee's gone by the look of it.
He might be the first person who goes and sees Orthopedics 360.
Orthopedics 360, yes, indeed.
He needs to go and get a...
I think he just got trapped awkwardly at the bottom of the maul, or was it the tackle?
I think it was the challenge. He kind of got dragged backwards. But he doesn't look comfortable. Injury plagued somewhat, Mr. Wilkes. Missed some time with that jaw.
Yeah. Well, to play a couple of weeks for not knowing that he had quite a decent jaw injury, and then has been back to training. Yet probably would have liked a couple more weeks running around. Unfortunately, he didn't get it. So
well, just as we have this break in play, we'll have a look at the stats thanks to Joseph Azumku. Brighton conceded 8 penalties. Scrums, missed tackles, they missed 6 tackles, so that's starting to creep up for them as well.
Yep.
Scrums and lineouts with 1, 2, 6 lineouts. Burnside, 9 penalties, so the penalty count's pretty even.
Quite even there, Dave.
Big number though, 12 missed tackles.
Yeah, very telling, very telling.
2 scrums, 7 lineouts.
And here we go, looks like Fraser Green might be slowly warming up, possibly for the second half, or see what happens with Ed Wilkes.
I don't know how happy he is, and with knees as well. With knees as well, it can feel okay, and then it'll go again on him. They're making him go the long, long way.
He might have to get his swag billy and a horse to get back over here, but he's coming off.
So we see the introduction of Fraser Green.
Yes, the big man with the big don't argue.
But non-displaced fracture of his cheekbone 3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
and he's back.
He's a tough hombre, isn't he?
Miracle recovery.
Well, he actually did have got stitched up, had a hole in his nose from the sprigs on that Brighton game.
There is a man who's been in the wars. He has played a half of rugby, that young man.
Oh, he's one talented footballer. Unfortunately, he looks like he
might be done for the day.
Yeah, sustained that injury, so here we go. Brighton with the line out.
Line out in front of the Burnside faithful. Guarantee they'll let you know whether it's straight or not. Again, they go up to the middle. They'll roll off the side of that maul. Brown will show inside and then decide to go. Andrew Brown will sit in at halfback. They'll go to the left. Shift it on to Bradford. Bradford will manage to get it to ground. Gareth Brown into Cook. Cook will just come back on the angle. Lamsam nearly got him. Good clean out though.
Callum Walton's getting through a mountain of defence here. Look at that hit.
That's a huge hit.
Boom,
That's Samuel.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, the ball's come out on the other side, and there is a whistle. Just popped out on the other side in the hands of Thomas.
All right, here we go on the Rhino replay. Let's have a look here.
That's a massive hit. That
Big
was
hit.
Walton
Yeah,
with the hit.
Callum Walton, the Sea Dog, and
It just popped out of there
Yeah.
and ended up in the arms of Thomas, but penalty.
Unfortunately for Thomas, it's just a reaction, isn't it?
Nice step inside. Support is coming. Lamsam at halfback. Marshall shows, straightens. Keeps his feet, waits for his support. Ashby will then send it out. Defensively, Brighton have been very, very good in this opening half.
Yeah, very fast off their line.
In red time for the first half. Walter will float that one over. Here is the miracle man.
Fraser Green.
Fraser Green, he's got Satala in front of him. He kicks it on. It's now about the bounce. Bullower will sort the bounce out. Long, long way to go if he's going to do anything. He runs on the outside of Fraser Green. Fraser Green will get hands on the ball. Which way is it going to come back? Penalty, sealing off. And then just give him a little bit of face work. A little bit of a face rub. Carlos has then reversed it. He's not ready to go. He wants to speak, I think. He's just having a conversation with Cook. It's twice the discipline of Satala's got the better of him.
Yeah, he's in a fiery mood, isn't he, Nathan Satala?
Now they're going to tag them back another one. They're going to point to the posts. This might be the last. Don't know whether we'll have time for the kickoff.
Yeah, like you said, he's been pinned twice now, Nathan Satala. It'd be good to see him focus his
things, though.
Yeah, to focus his aggression in a more positive way. But he's I can't blame him being antsy about a grand final. Every player's antsy, but like we know, it's good to channel it in the proper areas.
From the coach's point of view, though, you don't mind if you have somebody get a yellow card because they're playing hard, but not silly things after the whistle.
Yeah, you're right.
So Herbert. Knocks over his third.
So I'm still not.
We are going to have time for the kickoff. 46-minute half.
There we go.
Enjoying ourselves far too much.
Yeah. Let's run it all week. Hey. So, and this is what we come to expect from these two sides the whole season, is a very cut and dry game of thrust and repost, really.
Been a different game for Burnside, though. Normally we see Burnside nice and flowing and free. They haven't got any go forward whatsoever.
Yeah.
But they are staying within touch by kicking the penalties.
Yeah, I have to agree, Dave. There's a little bit of just unfamiliarity with their style of play at the moment.
Every time they go into contact, they're met by a black and gold wall.
Yeah. Brighton's defence has been on really good.
Just puts his head down and goes. Little cannonball of a number 12.
He is a cannonball.
Then they will send it to Lamsam. Lamsam will draw and give. Marshall, he'll come back in field. Andrew Brown will dance with him somewhat and then put him out. He's still going though. They thought about going quick.
So it's a 48-minute half, Dave. I'm guessing that's...
Maybe we're just not doing half time today. We'll just play all the way through to 80.
Sensational. Sensational.
2 80-minute halves. So Brighton with the lineup. Messy, but it ends up in Burnside's hands. Then they will look. Great line speed from Faye. Got man and ball, but Maroney just bounces around in there like a pinball.
Yep.
Then Walton will straighten,
bring
back on the angle. Does very, very well. Benja will then look to the right-hand side.
And then Chris Walton
lost it. Penalty, though. No clear release. Lamsam wants to go. Does go. Looks for an offload, finds an offload to Walton. Then they will look to the right-hand side. Marshall decides to come back. Again, holds his feet, waits for his support, gets it.
Yeah, he got caught by Thomas there. Good.
Ashby will come back. And Herbert will straighten.
They got numbers there, Brighton.
Look close. All a bit pedestrian from Burnside at the moment. Walton to Maroney. Runs over the first one. Can't get through Bradford. Lamsam will pick and go. Met by Brown. Still there, Ashby. Maroney. Maroney just goes. I don't think it matters where you hit him. He's going to keep going. Then they look left. Oh, no. Little offload and then goes forward. Waited for a signal. We're still going. Brown. Gareth Brown kicks it out. So he's had enough. He wants a half-time break. So we will go into half-time. Brighton leading this one 12 points to 9. Ladies and gentlemen, this final series has been brought to you by Rhino Rugby. We went and had a chat with a rep from Rhino Rugby and also had a look at some of the toys that they brought down this weekend. Don't go anywhere. Have a look at this. We'll be right back with you. I'm over here at the Rhino display area with Brian Sinclair. And Brian, you basically have a piece of equipment for every single facet of the game.
Oh, that's 100% right, and it's very rugby specific. Rugby being a very technical game, all the pieces of equipment to replicate what happens, especially at the scrum and the breakdown. The breakdown more importantly. So the breakdown is the key to rugby at the moment. So we've got all the pieces of equipment to replicate that so we can get the guys to train. All the drills are going to show the best way to get that ball out of the ruck or alternatively clear the ruck out so they can steal the ball.
Yeah, well, Rhino's always been synonymous with the scrum machine, but now we've moved on now, and we'll see the jackal pads and the all sorts of stuff, and the collision king that the under-18 stateside's using behind us.
100%, and we're always developing. That's what we try to do. Rhino was about that, and now it's about moving on and looking at what changes of the game are occurring and creating pieces of equipment that replicate, like I said earlier, replicate those phases in the game, and especially at the breakdown, which is so crucial in modern rugby.
Thank you very much for your time. What we'll do is we'll just have a quick look at the under-18s using it.
Let the boys go.
Off you go. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Some stats from that first half. Stats compiled by our statsman, Darren Stanton. Stalwart to Port Adelaide Rugby Club. And stats are brought to you by Joseph Azumku. If you need a suit, go and see him in the city. Also does formal hire. Gawler Place in the city. So, penalties. Dead even. Both sides conceded 10 penalties. Missed tackles. Creeping up for Brighton, they've missed 9. Burnside have missed 12. Scrum's dead even as well. Brighton have won 2. Burnside have won 2. Lineouts. Brighton have won 8. Burnside have won 7. We get ready for the second half. Kev Ashby will want to get his team in and maybe rethink what they're doing and how they're dealing with this Brighton defence, because every time they try and get a little bit of go forward, they are met by a player wearing black and gold who more often than not is hitting them behind the gain line and then driving them back. Yeah,
their line speed's been, and as a unit, they're coming up as a unit. Their line speed's impressive. They're meeting over the advantage line. And, you know, you've got to get through that or go find some other strategy to deal with that. So maybe a couple of little choice kicks behind the defensive line. I'm not sure, Dave. Brighton will definitely have some sort of strategy and employ, and, yeah, let's see what happens.
So just a reminder at halftime, this final series brought to you by Rhino Rugby. Anything you need, go and find their website. They've got absolutely everything you could want. Every single facet of rugby is covered. We must also thank our platinum partners, Coopers, Home Timber and Hardware, where the tradies go. Be Active, which is from the government of South Australia, the Office for Recreation and Sports. O'Neill's, use their iCreate stuff to get yourself a new kit for 2018. And Orthopedics 360, hopefully you don't have to use him, but if you do need him, go and see him. Of course, all year long, the media partner Spacequake Sports has been powering this live stream for you. We'll talk a little bit more about them as we get to the end, but absolutely fantastic the work that David Muggleton and his crew has done through 2017.
Oh, an absolutely fantastic addition there, Dave. Spacequake, hats off to them. Without them, we wouldn't be going around the world.
So we look like they're going, and I just saw that Callum Walton does not look well. He's holding that up. He's got that right shoulder. I think he just got a tap on the shoulder and it didn't work. I think they could lose Callum Walton.
It looks like it
that
might.
Second half.
Yeah, it looks like it might happen. He's
not
in pain.
good. He's in a lot of pain, and we talked about how they breed him tough.
Well, he's a tough man and leads from the front, as we've seen earlier.
So
and throughout the year,
he won't want to come off. I mean, all of these players will. The only way they want to come off is shoveled into a paper bag, isn't it? The only way they will want to leave this field.
Yeah, I think you're right there.
So for him to have to come off, it's got to be sore.
Yeah. This Callum Walton, the Sea Dog, he leads from the front, and unfortunately, when you lead from the front, you're the first one there, and you take the brunt of the impact, Dave, and it looks like that's exactly what's happened to his right shoulder.
So as we go into half-time, we had the very, very early try from Peter Bullower. The conversion was missed on that one. And then Aaron Coleman with good follow-up work, he went over, and that one was converted by Faye. Then it died off a little bit, and it was that old heavyweight fight, and they were just sort of feeling each other out. 3 penalties from Curtis Herbert has brought them to within 3 points for this 2017 Rhino Grand Final. Kev Ashby is laying down the law.
Yep.
Very rare that we see him show any level of emotion, but now I think he's had enough. He realises this is, for both teams, this is the last 40 minutes of 2017. Yep. Next time they pull the boots on, in anger, will be 2018. So you've got to get it done.
Yep. And
either side, both sides.
It'll be interesting to hear how they react to Kev Ashby's half-time talk. They look united. And you're right, Dave. Callum Walton, Sea Dog's coming off. I wonder who is it Zach Ellis that's come on?
Just trying to work it out. Trying to work out where those changes is. Just having a look at Brighton as well. I don't think there's any major issues. Definitely no injury issues. I think that Bradford change is a tactical one.
A tactical one, yeah.
And then what they'll probably do is they'll give Spark a rest, and then he'll come on at the front row with around 20 minutes to go.
Yeah, well, Bradford's so good in the line out, especially up the back there, and he's very quick over the ground.
And around the ruck as well, incredibly good around the ruck. And we're seeing 2 of the best in the state today, Lamsam and Bradford. Both of them, both Bradford and Lamsam, have been curtailed somewhat today. They haven't had the opportunity to jackal as much as they would want to.
Yeah, and if you ask me what the reason was to that, I'd be hard up to explain, but...
So Collier is will restart us. Collier will restart us. We are getting ready to go. And we're back to a full complement. Mr. Coleman has left us. He's back on there. Collier will go very, very deep.
Fraser Green there.
Just sat under it, and he will clear.
That's a...
Bullower thought about going quickly, then thought better of it. That is a big, big kick. And didn't...
looks like the intensity's popped up a level or 2 here, Dave.
So line out. Looks like they changed the call and went to the back to Brown. Smart play. Then they will go in field to Faye. Faye and then Bullower on the inside.
Eric Moroney covers Bullower.
Faye will pick, sending out to Cook on the right-hand side.
There's another man that leads from the front, isn't it?
Another messy one, another penalty coming. Oh, and it's bobbled around. Ali Wood will pick it up. Ali Wood versus Blair Marshall. Blair Marshall just drags him. Offloaded to Coleman. Coleman looking for a gap. Trying to work his way out to the right. Waiting for his support to come. His support does come. Gareth Brown is there. He'll look to the right-hand side. Another just big bash at that line. Brown picks it up. Intercepted by Walton. Collier. Burnside can come out. Then the charge down. It's all happening at Riverside Oval. Brighton with the hands on the ball. Brown to Butler. Butler to Satala. Satala holds. Too long. Had Bullower outside of him if he'd given him. Bullower was in. Yeah. Butler loses it. Then it's cleaned up by Herbert. He's done very, very well. Ashby out to this left-hand side to Fraser Green. Fraser Green will put it on the foot. Bullower has to chase it back. Green has to deal with Bullower. Loses his footing. Gives Green the chance, but Bullower just brushes him off like he's an annoying mosquito, of which there are plenty around today. Finally, we get to take a breath as things slow down somewhat. Counter run. That's the number 20, Zach Ellis, who's come on. That one is kicked over the back. It is rolling towards that line, and then it didn't get there, so Burnside have to kick it out. That is an incredibly weighted kick.
Yep. Yeah, very classy kick there, Dave. What a turn! What a play! Camped right on their try line. Brighton.
Battered and Walton managed to get that intercept.
I actually think Coleman had a bit to play there. If he wasn't standing in the way of the halfback, he might have just got that pass off, unfortunately, for Brighton. But
it's all a little bit rushed around there as well. A little bit panicky as well.
There they go up the back again.
Going to look for that driving maul. They get it moving. Brown has hands on. Moving sideways rather than forwards. Now the ball is in the hand of Wenk. Wenk is at the back of it. Wenk goes over. Arm goes up. Brighton push further out.
Well, what do you say? Great maul. Like you said, it was going sideways, but Burnside seemed to fail to commit too many plays to the maul. As we get to the Rhino replay. And Brighton, fantastic maul, here we go. Even Buller was joined in the back into the maul here.
Didn't see who.
And they're just torn apart.
With it.
They're just torn through there. Unfortunately, canvas Blair Marshall on the bottom there of the maul, and well done, Brighton.
Didn't see who came up with the ball.
No.
Well, that's what they needed. 3 minutes into the second half, they've got that try. With the kick to come. Yeah,
well, failure to kick this, so you'd be a very game man to back him away, because the man's got a radar on his boot, this one.
He's kicked very, very well all year.
Very composed young man, isn't he? Here we go.
And he will send that one over. So 19 points to 9. Back to a 10-point ball game.
Yep, Burnside with all the work to do.
Very, very difficult to stop that driving maul. Once it gets going forward, it's very, very difficult.
Yeah, especially from that far out, Dave. I think it was a very potent weapon for Brighton over this last season. Ooh.
Bradford stands up, ducks into the first one. Brown at the back. We'll find Collier. Collier just with a little chip into space. All about the bounce. Took a very, very Brighton bounce. Thomas swung a foot at it. Coleman picks it up. He'll have to hold his feet, wait for his support. Support gets there. Brown. Collier. Collier misses them out to Fahey. Fahey looks for a gap, looks to run the angle. Didn't get around Maroney. They will settle. Brown into midfield. Then on to Cook. Cook will straighten. Run over the top of Jacob Devlin. Send him back a couple of places. Collier again will put the boot to it.
A searching kick there.
Go out over that far side, playing territory and possession now.
Eric Maroney's done his elbow. Sean
Meredith will come in. He'll probably go out to a wing, and they'll probably shift. Well, they might shift Fraser Green into the centres.
I think that's exactly what will happen there, Dave. Fraser Green to inside centre by the look of it. Curtis Herbert to outside. Sean Meredith on the wing. Chris Hodgson remains at fullback.
Hamilton. Now there is another charge down. Thomas will pick it up. The charge down king. Collier. Then Bradford will go. Then they will look to the left. Butler, that step of his again. Then he will offload to Fahey. Brown into midfield to Andrew Brown. He'll straighten up, meet a double blue wall, shake his way out of the first one. Then out to the right. Collier shows, stands up, offloads. France puts his head down. That's the try line. That's the Burnside try line. Penalty to Burnside, not releasing. It's a little bit of white line fever when they get down there. Need a little bit more composure.
I think they're just letting the moment sort of get to them a bit, Brighton. They need to remain composed, like you've said, and just play their normal game. They do have a very classy game, very well structured, and if they stick to that, they're a good chance of going ahead, staying ahead here. They don't want to give Burnside any sort of a sniff, because I think Burnside do have the strike power to bring this game sort of to an even keel. So still interesting. Don't go away.
So we got word Mitchell Wenk was the try scorer for Brighton.
Oh, well done, Mitchell.
So they go to the middle. Offload to Marshall. Again, defensively, Brighton are very, very good. Arm out for another penalty. Tries to run the arc. Ripped clear from him. They still got that advantage, you would imagine. That one is left behind. And we will come back. Side entry. Meredith is all the way over there. He wants to have a little quick look.
Looks like Will Shields is coming on, Dave. I'm not sure who for yet, but...
He played in the Premier Reserve grade game.
Yep, he did.
He's had a game off, though.
Yes,
so
yes,
he's had a rest.
Indeed.
It's either going to have seized him up, or he can rest and relax.
He'll be chomping at the bit to get on there, I'm sure, Will Shields. Very, very hard ball runner, you know.
So Will Shields will go on. He was devastating when we saw him in the first time we took to Burnside.
Nigel Lamsam's off.
Nigel Lamsam is off. We're playing. Well, they haven't actually managed to get that change in. Lamsam off. You would think injury. Oh, Blair Marshall will get his way through. Looking to offload. Now he's been held up and he just wrestles his way to the ground. Counter ruck from Thomas. Ashby sends it out to Herbert. Herbert just throws his weight around, runs out of that one. Now he will keep going. Ashby to Shields. Shields just puts his head down. France thought about it, then decided just to defend. Walton stops, then looks to run the arc. Takes on Fahey. Geez, Fahey's had to do some work in that midfield. Hamilton. Nothing there. Shields again. Then inside.
Alistair Langford.
Langford. He's just going to straighten. Takes on Gareth Brown. Support is there. Then they look to the right. Just comes back inside. There's a flag out from, I think there was a suspicion that the Gareth Brown tackle was a little bit high. Andrew Brown looks like he's struggling. Who's that slow getting up? Is that Langsford? Yeah, I think he got hit. A little bit high from Gareth Brown.
Yeah.
Andrew Brown, not too sure
He's
what's happened to him.
He's having trouble. It does seem, I think you're pretty much on the money there, Dave. It might have been just slightly high or just slipped up off the shoulder, but he's getting up, Alistair Langford. And
so in this half, Brighton 2 missed tackles, Burnside 3 missed tackles already, 2 penalties apiece. And only line-out so far. Burnside have won 3, Brighton have won 2. Stats brought to you by Joseph Azumku.
Yeah.
So, penalty for the high tackle.
Yep.
So this will give Burnside a chance to kick into that corner, and then they might try and get their rolling maul going. Looks like there's been another change. I think that's Freddie Samuel who's come off. Not sure who's gone on. Let's see whether we can pick that for you.
Aaron Tatoka by the look of it.
So there is the line-out. Marshall rises high. Sorry, that's Devlin. Ball at the back with Walton. They are going forward. 5 meters to go. Brown's got to be careful not to come in the side, which he does. So a penalty advantage. Then they will look on that inside ball. Another penalty. So tough. It's so tempting to come into the side when that driving maul is going.
You can't really blame him, you know.
You see him stuttering towards
see the ball,
it.
you see the man, you see his flank unprotected, and all you want to do is go in there and hit the man, get the ball, but unfortunately you just can't do that, Dave. So here we go.
So again, Devlin, now it will come down. That's a good start, that's a good drive. Walton at the back, Walton down. Burnside fight back with a driving maul of their own. That will take us to 19 points to 14. The captain, Walton, gets the try. Burnside's first try of the day.
Yeah, it was, Dave. Like you said, and you caught it early on the Rhino replay, short line out, and they just hit Blair Marshall.
It's Devlin, I think.
Zach Ellis.
Zach Ellis.
Yep, Zach
number
Ellis.
20.
Yep, and the man himself, the captain for Burnside, takes charge from behind the wall, which is what Nigel Lamsam would usually be. So
we'll see whether I can get some word on Lamsam. So Herbert will kick to try and bring it back to within a 3-point game.
It's not an easy kick by any stretch of the imagination, Dave. It's he's sort of 5-6 metres inside from touch, possibly 7, and approximately 21 and a half metres out.
He kicks well.
Yeah, he does. He did kick earlier on in the season, then Ed Wilkes had a go, and they've given the responsibility back to Curtis.
And he's pulled it very much like Faye pulled one from there. Maybe it'll just take them a little bit of time to sort themselves out. So, 5 points to difference. 53 minutes gone.
It's just everything's realigning for another thriller here at Port Adelaide Rugby Club.
Oh, there's way in front. He gets away with it though. Long kick. Marshall takes on Bradford, runs over the top of Bradford, and then he will manage to get it out, and he's dropped it cold. Advantage to Brighton. So they'll come back for that, Brighton, that knock on. So Lamsam isn't injured, it's tactical.
Okay, there we go.
So we'll wait and see what happens with that one.
Well, you hear the Brighton team calling out whale, so it's obviously got a planned move happening here.
Just looking at Burnside's body language, it's a bit flat at the moment. They need to lift.
Yep.
Plenty of time. There's another 26 minutes left in this one.
Yeah, totally agree. There's a big shove.
Brown out the back. And it will find its way to Butler. Butler doesn't get away from the first one. A little bit isolated this time. But Burnside, yeah, he's very, very isolated at that point. And Hamilton had enough of a shot at it before. He should have given it before Bulwer got there.
Yeah.
So penalty.
Unfortunately for Brighton, they like you said, they just got isolated. Their move sort of wasn't as crisp as I'm sure they would have liked. And the Burnside outside backs are more than happy to accommodate a bit of isolation coming from Brighton.
So the kick goes on to the top of our very important person tent.
I think having Callum Walton leave, Dave, they've lost a little bit of leadership there. There are other leaders out there, but it might take them a bit of time just to get used to not having him out there.
Scrappy, but it's come back Burnside's way.
Will Shields.
And Will Shields will come back on the angle. And they will look into midfield. Hamilton
out the back
miss
door.
Out a couple. And they will go wider. Out to Meredith. Meredith will take on Bulwer. Big contact. Meredith makes good yardage though. And they will just settle into midfield.
Jacob Devlin takes a hit up.
Running that pod. And again, you see Brighton right over the top of it. Meredith will shift it on. Christopher Hodgson lost it. More questions, more talk. Brighton ball. So there's a change, I think. Spark has come on. I think Andrew Brown just had some time. So Jacob France will come off. Spark will go into that front row. All the way to the back to Bradford. Brown, Collier, Fahey, Bullower. Just stopped and then went.
Oh, he should have given it there, Dave.
Herbert's done an absolute mountain of work in midfield. Brown into Andrew Brown.
He's been quite strong tonight too, Andrew Brown.
Gareth Brown will go again. Out to Fahey. Fahey will send it to Butler. Butler will offload to Thomas. Thomas versus Walton. Little out and in did enough. Good challenge though by Hodgson. Ball comes a long way out the back to Fahey. Fahey has got his support there. Gareth Brown now will send it into midfield to Cook. Cook will straighten. Ball will come back Brighton's way.
Looking to shift it left.
Andrew Brown straightens. Support comes.
He's been really good into contact, Andrew Brown.
I think that's Spark with his first action after coming back on. Brown will have a snipe. Has Cook with him. Another little pick and go. This is where they need that composure. They've got to this position a couple of times and then it's fallen away from them.
I think there's a turnover, Dave.
Well, there we go. Just as we say it, the turnover comes. Ashby will put the ball on the boot. It's a foot race, Hodgson versus Coleman. Coleman will break Hodgson's ankles, then fend Walton, then step inside. He's kicked it over the top, and he will gather, and he will score! Down in the left-hand corner. Talk about individual tries. That's outstanding work from Aaron Coleman.
Absolutely classy, absolutely classy. He had a lot to do. First of all, on the Rhino replay, he fakes to go left, then puts on the burner. So he's beaten two there. Chips and chase over Sean Meredith. Only had Aaron Tatoka, the prop, over in cover and try to the big man. He's been devastating all year, must say that.
That's, and I'll say this now, he's played incredibly well. He's got a yellow card, so can you call him best on ground because he's had a yellow card?
Yeah.
Because he's been outstanding.
Yes, yes.
Talk about moments of individual brilliance and moments that will light up a rugby pitch.
That was one.
I've not seen anything anywhere close to that good this year.
Yep, yeah, no, he's all class, all talent. He's, you know, as the Brighton boys give him a bit of congratulations there. He's noted, and he's one of the, if not the competition's best attacking weapons. So well done to the big man, and here we go. So 14 points to 24 to Brighton, the kick to come.
10-point ball game.
I think he's nailed that.
12-point ball game. He has got his eye.
There he is. Pete Hodgson. Chip and chase.
And look, bounce and gather.
Just got the favourite, you know, a favourable bounce really. So
it's as good as it gets.
Yep.
For individual rugby, that's as good as it gets.
Yep. Well done.
So Burnside will look to start again. Lee Cunnington looking to enter the fray in front of us.
Big hit from
Bradford.
Jacob Devlin.
Bradford tidies it up. Little shift. Brown back to Collier. Collier will clear. Kick over the back.
Matt Benja.
Benja will just straighten up. He'll try and take Bullower on the outside. That runs him into Bradford. Bradford makes the tackle. Bullower tries to jackal. Ball still there. Whistle.
As we've got Lee Cunnington here on the sideline in number 19.
See who comes off. And Hodgson's played well. Just a line out to Brighton. Looks like they're going to go to the back. Bradford again. Then we come off the top. Brown, Collier. Into midfield to Butler. Butler has a little bit of space. Can't get away from Herbert. Then Satala will shake one. Then he will turn it around. Now he's going to put the toe down. He's going to take on Shields. He'll go over in the left-hand corner. Brighton really starting to push away now. 31 points to 14. inside the final 20 minutes. Satala turned his defender inside out. I think it was Will Shields. He turned him inside out, then put the toe down.
Yeah, exceptional play there from Brighton. Look, Nathan Satala, I thought he was injured like a couple of weeks. Here we are on the Rhino replay. We've got Tremaine Butler, offloads. There we goes. Not really a step, just a change of direction, really, wasn't it?
Just that in and out that turned around his defender. I think it was Will Shields.
Yep.
And just turned him the wrong way round. As soon as he get him the wrong way round and he turned his body,
he was gone.
Satala knew he was gone.
And it looks like Satala's previous injury, whether it was his knee or hamstring, is well and truly put to rest.
Grade 3 hamstring tear. I don't know whether the numbers go like DEFCON or whether they go like everybody else. I don't know whether it was the lowest grade hamstring tear.
Well, he's showing no signs of it at the moment.
Those missed tackles are creeping up again for Burnside. 7 missed tackles to 2. Only giving away 2 penalties. Those missed tackles are the ones that are causing problems. Stats brought to you by Joseph Azumku as Faye gives it a chance.
Just pushes it left.
Didn't get there. There is the Brighton faithful.
They're very happy over there, aren't they?
We get to see it again. Butler with a lovely little offload, but it's the little in and out. Meredith didn't stick his tackle, and as soon as he turned his, Will Shields turned his back, Satala knew it.
Yeah,
surprised he didn't give us a little wink in the corner there.
Oh, well done, Nathan.
Played very, very well all year. That one's been dropped cold, though. Knock on, knock on. So Burnside will have the first knock on. Langsford and Bulwer just exchanging a few pleasantries.
Yeah, it's interesting to see what Burnside come up with. They're lining out deep. Lee Cunnington sort of in the inside of Curtis Herbert.
So have they did they bring Hodgson off?
Yep, looks like it.
Hodgson off, Cunnington on. Into midfield. And a little offload to Cunnington. Cunnington's first introduction to this game. Left, and again, the trend of Brighton, strong in defence, will continue. Langsford.
Yeah, the defence has been top-notch today, I think, David. Look at that.
Tackle is either on or behind the gain line. Cunnington again will hit it flat. Only makes a yard. Ball is popped out of that breakdown. Ashby, short ball to Walton. Walton got man and ball. Does well enough and holds it up. Ashby again, snipes this time. Nowhere to go though. Got to find his way to ground. She does. Meredith will come into halfback. Shields has gone to the back. Going to look to pick and drive. Gets Walton for support. Again, not much.
Nothing there.
Go forward. And again, pick and drive. Brighton shut the door. Again, a pick and drive. Inch by inch, they will go again. There's no numbers out here. Brighton have the numbers out here, so there'll be a penalty. Side entry.
They'll have to go.
Time for kicking for goal, I think, is gone.
It's gone, mate. They'll have to go for it. They're going for line, going for touch.
Well, they'll need that line out to work for them again. How far have they given themselves? Probably around 7 to 10 metres. They'll have to go again.
Both teams have had a very clinical line out this year, Dave. Brighton are choosing to throw it out the back tonight, but both teams are very excellent line out.
Yeah, same one. Brighton have done better. Now it starts to go forward. Sideways, now they'll want to get it going forward, which they do. He's come straight through the middle. Woods comes straight through the middle again. Has gone down. Normally there's no way of it going down other than it illegally, but Carlos says no, it's all good. Yep. Turnover, Brighton ball.
Here we go. Chris Hodgson's going
So
back
Hodgson
on.
will go back on. I think he's going to go back into halfback. Ashby has worked hard today. Little reward.
He's a class player, Chris Hodgson. He's come from just recently come back this season from the ACT Brumbies. Here working in Adelaide now, and a very polite, well-rounded young man. Pleasure to have at the club. Here we
Brighton
go.
will have the scrum. Goes to the back.
Big hole.
Satala hit hard. Ball comes back the right way though.
Yeah, Jacob Devlin closed that hole.
Cook will shift it.
Nice hands from Cook.
Best hands in the league for a forward.
Yeah, yeah.
Then they will come back inside. Wood has been incredibly impressive today.
Yeah, I'm impressed with his work rate and just his execution.
Collier put that high. Meredith underneath it, plucks it out there. Coleman gets him. Flag out. Now we have to, Coleman is on a yellow. It depends on how seriously he sees this. Meredith did well underneath it. We apologise if any languages leaks through from the Burnside bench, which is away to our left.
Ah, yeah. It's,
But we're going to see whether there is a card there. There was Coleman.
He's not going to his pocket, so it might just be a penalty.
Penalty, so it's just a penalty. Just a
Here's
penalty.
a replay. Puts up the
And
old
now
Gary
we'll get
Owen.
knocked down, but Meredith did well.
He
Stood
took
under it. He dropped. He was hit hard. He was hit high though. The letter of the law.
Yeah.
First contact is on the head. It's a talking point. I'm sure that it will be discussed around many a bar this evening. Hodgson snaffled as he tried to get away. Another penalty.
Chris Hodgson tap and go.
Needs to
Sends it
move
out
quickly.
to Andrew Hamilton.
Then they will go wide to Herbert. Herbert will go wide again to Benja. Benja will take on Bullower. Bullower didn't really make an attempt at any arms, but we will continue. Hodgson will snipe to that left-hand side. Bullower again looks to Jackal. Cleaned out. Another big leg drive. That's the Brighton try line. Arm out for another penalty. Hodgson sends it out. He'll try and squeeze through the gap. Brighton do enough. Might have numbers out on this side. He will straighten. Oh, the bit of white line fever again. Over they'll go again. Walton will look. Oh, he kind of half showed a try sign.
We've got the touch judge coming.
There's another flag out.
Someone's down too. We've got it all. It's all happening. It's all happening.
Not entirely. So he went to his pocket. There's a card. Yeah, so there was no arms in that initial tackle.
No,
he
no,
can't really argue with that, and we'll come back for that penalty.
Right, someone's having real problems here.
Yellow
I
card.
think it's Jacob Devlin, the hard man of Burnside.
Is he just taking a knock on him? He's
think-
gone down. I saw him go down with no one around him.
I think it's his knee, mate. I think it's his.
Let's see what we can get. There's a Brighton player getting treatment. I think that's Henry Bradford. He's looking at his knee.
He's had a marvellous game, Bradford, hasn't he?
They did well again, bringing him on and adding him into the fray tactically. I'm not sure who that Brighton player is. We'll see whether we can get a look at the Brighton player. The Burnside player, sorry. See whether we can work out who that is.
I'm pretty sure it's Jacob Devlin.
Looks like that's a change for Bradford. They're going to try and keep him on.
Number 7, Jacob Devlin.
So I'm not entirely sure what's going on over there. People are very, very restless. He's up and about. Just looks like he's caught a knee on the side. That's the number 7, Jacob Devlin. Looks like he's got a bit of a dead leg. So Buller will spend 10 minutes on the sideline. That might be his game.
He seems to be a pleasant young man. There's Bradford.
Well, hopefully that's not too bad for Bradford. He's looking at his right knee. It's a scrum after all of that. It's a scrum. inside the final 10 minutes. Burnside have to come away with a score now, you would think.
Oh, yeah, it's a must.
Brighton will want to shut the door on them.
Big scrum from Brighton, it wheels slightly.
Oh, he made him reach, but he got there. Massive defence again. Huge hit in midfield. Then he's just holding on, Fahey. Now they will look again to this right-hand side. Just need to be a little bit more clean with the skills. Holding people up. Thomas has got hold of it. And has to release because he's got his knee to ground. Hodgson sends it into the middle to Shields. Shields will take on Fahey. Fahey again holds on. Just Hodgson. Then we'll send it to the right. Out to Zach Ellis. Hodgson. Hamilton. Cunnington. Meredith. Meredith goes in. There is life in this one.
A bit of controversy.
Well, no, we're talking again. Conversation between assistant and referee. So there was a try. We all wait for the kick. We missed it, and obviously what the cheering was from down in that Burnside corner. Collier, I think, has been given a...
That's what it is.
He's been given a yellow card. Not rolling away. Cunnington will find Meredith. Meredith goes over in the corner, and there is life in this one.
Well, you said they needed to score, Dave, and on the Rona replay, we saw them shifted out to the right-hand side, and the champion, Sean Meredith.
And flags go up, so they'll go again. So 21-31, we're back to that 10-point ball game.
Yeah, here we go.
7 minutes plus change, because we will be stoppages.
Yep, well, let's see what
Then we will go. Brighton got to put this as deep as possible, you would think, and make them run from a long field.
Yeah, beautiful ball there from Cunnington.
More discussions, there's a lot of talking. They must, got to be rugby now.
Yeah.
Got to play rugby.
The whole of the Brighton side lined up here on the left-hand side of the field.
So, restart from Fahey.
They've been going
He does
deep.
go deep.
Yep, once again.
Gives them a long field. Bouncing ball. Has to sort it out. Hodgson sends it out to the left-hand side. Cunnington takes on Cook. Slow, but they can go. Langsford. Hodgson will clear. Go to Shields. Shields will shake the first one. Can't get away from the second one. Does offload, though. Blair Marshall, who's gone quiet. We haven't called his name for a while.
Oh, yeah.
Hodgson.
Aaron Tatoka takes a hit up there.
Big contact in the midfield. Hodgson, Hamilton, Green. Bounces it out to Benja. Benja will take on Butler. Butler does enough. Good counter ruck. Hodgson can find Hamilton though. Hamilton didn't see anything he liked, so tucked it and went.
They're coming up quick on the inside there.
Quick little snipe from Hodgson. No halfback. Tatoka thinks he's going to have a go, and he does. That's what you need on there's the ball on the inside. Big collision. Cramp, I think, for Wood. Ball has ended up Brighton's way. Gareth Brown will snaffle it. Not held, so he keeps going. We'll go out to Spark. Spark will add a couple. Andrew Brown at the back. He will pick and go. Then Brown. They'll go to the right-hand side to Cook. 5 minutes and change to go.
They're
Brown.
spread it out here to the left.
There are numbers out here. Coleman's asking for it. Coleman's on a hat trick. He'll want it out here. Brown will look to the right.
Choose to go to the right. And here we go. They're lining up.
They're just happy with rugby, you would think. Now they'll go again. Now Burnside can get hands on. Didn't break the clean out though. Brown again will go to the right-hand side. Cook will settle. Brown will get there. Counter ruck from Burnside. Wood, standing start. I think he's run himself dry and he's turned it over. Burnside will get another chance. Hodgson into Shields. Marshall. Now they can go. Meredith just stopped. Sorry, not Meredith. Herbert was just stopped in his tracks. Marshall will get there. Little snipe from Hodgson. Hands on from Butler. And he did enough.
And it's the assassin, Blair Marshall, affectionately known as Canvas. It's down.
He's cramping up. Just to his right is Ali Wood's cramping up. They, like I said, they've run themselves dry tonight.
Yeah, yep.
We've seen injuries.
He's up.
Seen cramp. And it looks like Faye is going to have another shot at goal.
He's a long way out. He's got to be.
Big long levers on Blair Marshall.
Here we go, number 18, Sammy Tanaki. Yeah, it's
keeping us on our toes with the number changes, Burnside, but we are in the final 3 minutes plus stoppage. They're going to try and add another 3, make this a 13-point ball game. Definitely within Faye's range.
Yeah, the man can play rugby and can kick. He's roosted that.
Flags go up. 3 more points in the bank. Burnside must regather this kickoff. Nice high kickoff. I haven't tested Brighton all day. I think the 2 players down at the moment. They've got to capitalise on that.
Yeah.
Wood again. Strong underneath the ball. Brown will send it in. And he will step around and Spark will go for a wander.
Great leg drive.
Gets some really good yardage. Andrew Brown, who's also been just a steadying hand today. Gareth Brown will pick up and look to the right. See, we step back in. I think that's number 2 is Mitchell Wenk. Brown again. And then there's all sorts of problems with players. Marshall's really struggling. He can't move around. Brown will look to the right-hand side to Ali Wood, who'll just do a little in and out step. Gareth Brown. Penalty though. Sealing off. Time for kick into touch. I was going to say time to kick into touch might be gone now, but no, they have got time for the line-out. Just a reminder, when our clock goes red, that means we're in the hands of the referee.
Yep, and we've seen it go red on numerous occasions against these 2 clubs this year.
So we have no idea what time the referee has got. We will be in the same position as you people at home. Hamilton shows, then finds Herbert in the middle. Then they will look to the right-hand side again. Cunnington met massively by Coleman. Coleman wonders, thought about it, then thought better of it. Then they will come to the left-hand side. Benja will straighten. He will run into yellow and black. Gareth Brown, who's been solid. Blair Marshall keeps going. Then they were going to look. Shields will look and pick to the left-hand side. So managed to get almost close to one. Then they will come away to this right-hand side. Hamilton looks to take on the outside. Oh, very good tackle by Wenk, just did not want to let him go. Hodgson will fire it out to Cunnington. Cunnington will try and get there. Coleman will get him. Coleman does well, last-ditch attempt. Hodgson is there, but the ball's come out. Butler had a chance, but it just couldn't go to hand.
Yeah, if he held on to it, it would have been an interesting race between him and Benja.
There we go, quick. No, Carlos doesn't want that one to go quick. I think we're about to see the reintroduction of Bullower.
Yes, yes. Yeah, he's an amazing player, Bullower. He's back on the paddock, and that'll make it just that little bit more difficult for Burnside to go in.
So it's knocked forward into touch.
So they're going to play the scrum.
Into touch, so they get the choice to scrum of the line out and see which one they want. So Brighton back up into full strength. Don't know how long, but I have to say, I think this is a mountain that's too high for Burnside.
Yeah, well, I'd say it's going to be difficult, depending on the amount of time, which we don't know. If there's 10 minutes to go, well, you know, they're in with a chance. But
free kick, give them a chance. Won't let them go, though.
Not on the
Shields
mark.
had a go. Walton has a go. Finally, they get one to go. Walton will put his head down and go. Pick and drive from Tanaki. Hodgson back into halfback. Marshall. Hodgson still in there. And they will go into midfield. Short line, ball goes forward. Brighton will touch it down. No idea how long is left.
He looks at his watch.
Knock on, Brighton scrum. So Brown will put it in. Solid from Brighton. Brighton will send it to the right-hand side. So Tala. He'll take on a couple. We'll come back. Collier is sat deep in the pocket. Andrew Brown will give him a little bit more room. Gareth Brown again will go out to France. Ryan France. Ball still there. Brown will find Spark. Spark will just go straight at Shields. Little bit isolated. Shields will get hands on, but Brighton have managed to work it out. Another penalty to Brighton for sealing off. Must be close to the end of this one.
Yep.
We think that's it. We're probably likely to see a tap and then a kick to touch. There were some celebrations in the background. So there is the tap. There is the touch. So for the first time since 2017, Brighton RUFC will find themselves as the premiers of the South Australian Rugby Union. Ladies and gentlemen, there will be blood for supper down there at Brighton tonight. Thank you very much for joining us. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2017 Rhino Premier Champions, Brighton. Ladies and gentlemen, from me and from Rory Sarongan, it has been an epic day of rugby. We will let you sit in and look how much it means to the faithful of Brighton. We've seen emotion all day, from the women's game to the Division 1. This is what it means to a club that is born and bred in rugby, not to have found themselves at the top of the heap since 2013. Now they do. And deserved.
Yep, credit where credit's due, Dave. They played a hard physical game. Like we all know, you know the cliche, defence wins premierships, and today they brought the defence, and every team that has won here today has brought or had good defence. So well done, Brighton. Well done to Rugby Union South Australia. Well done to you, Dave.
Thank you very much.
Love your work, sir. Yeah, well done, mate.
I've absolutely enjoyed it. So, just from me, the Space Quake Sports Crew. Up above me, we have Dan and Jonathan. Down on the very far left, we have Nicola. Sat on centre field, we have Debbie. And I'll see whether I can find out who's down on the right-hand side. Mark. And of course, the most important person, the one who pushes all the buttons, make sure that you see what you see, David Mulkinson, our director for the day. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll just give you a little bit of an environment. Have a look at what we're about. Ladies and gentlemen, this 2017 season comes to a close. We hope that we get to see you again in 2018. Ladies and gentlemen, we have loved every single second of today.
Indeed.
Congratulations to Brighton. 2017 premiers, ladies and gentlemen. From all of us at Space Quake Sports and Rugby Union South Australia, have a great evening wherever you are.
And stay safe.